and welcome to a very special episode of Through Imperial Eyes. This is the Star Wars Podcast Day special, right here on the first annual Star Wars Podcast Day. Jackson, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Braydon?
I'm good. My name is Braydon Leadbetter. I'm your host. I didn't say that at the beginning, but I'm going to say it now.
I'm your co-host, Jackson Daleen.
And we are here to talk about the entire Star Wars merchandise phenomenon, kind of, really, but we're more going to be focusing on toys and our childhood love of Star Wars, because that is kind of why we're here. We just can't let go of our childhood, and we are actual children.
It's all the trauma we have. We've all
coping.
figured out how to divert it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's right. But anyway, we're gonna use this episode to just talk about our feelings and break down all of our favorite Star Wars toys that we had. So give me a toy that you had that is the first thing that comes to mind when you think about Star Wars toys.
I have a whole list. I had a Vader meditation station.
Meditation.
And it was the scene in Empire when
and in his little pod thing.
The first reveal scene. It's
the ice cream cone.
Yeah, it's essentially that. It's like this big like pod. You open it up and it's got like a chair in it and it's got like a little crane and you can put Vader in it and the crane popped down, pulled his helmet off, and came back. You can close it. Was
it like battery powered?
No, it just was like this like mechanical, like it just pull apart and play with toy. And honestly, it had the best like Vader that I had too, because it like had full like appendages and like could hold a lightsaber and like actually do stuff.
I don't know if they ever made this. Did they ever make? I was always a fan of like action figures that had masks and helmets, but you could remove the mask or the helmet. Did they ever make a Vader? Did they ever make a Vader like that?
The meditation station had like the full like removable, like it had just the bottom piece where it looked like in Return of the Jedi. Yeah. I had one that was an Anakin. It was burnt Anakin, but you could stick on Vader like
medium
limbs.
Rare Anakin.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like it had the one arm and you could take the arm off and put the Vader arm on. It would make this little Vader.
Cool. Yeah, speaking of Vader, I don't know if you had this or if you saw like the commercials on TV back in like 2005, the Revenge of the Sith like marketing push, the Darth Vader voice changer.
Oh, like the helmet?
Yeah, it was like this huge helmet.
I had one too.
Yeah, it was way too big for any kid to ever wear. It was like the size of a globe. It sounded terrible.
I had the clone trooper helmet. That was Phase 1 clone troopers. Those were cool.
Yeah, but the like the voice changer, you could like. It was a helmet and it had straps that went down to his voice box that hung down, and you could press buttons and it would say things in Vader's voice, but you could also have the microphone attachment on the inside and it sounded like absolute farts. It did not sound good at all.
It sounded like someone trying too hard on like karaoke.
Yeah.
Like it was like a distorted microphone and
Yeah. But I always really wanted a Vader helmet just to like wear when I'm playing, and I never got one. And then I saw the voice changer. I was like, ooh, this is cool. And then it looked like I looked like a Big Mouth character.
Ew. That's gross. Speaking of Vader helmets, I have a story. My dad, this was probably a couple months ago. My dad texted me or messaged me a link on Facebook to a video of like a Black Series like Darth Vader replica helmet, and was just like, that's cool. And he was like, I ordered you one. And me, who was like I would think I was like taking a nap, I like leaned up and I was like, what? He was just like, yeah, it'll be here soon. I also got you the rest of the suit. So I'm like, did my dad just buy me this like replica Vader like suit? I'm expecting like a Halloween costume, something. Well, I was right. It took like a month to get there, maybe two. And when we opened it up, it was a XL Darth Vader Halloween costume you'd buy from Spirit Halloween. A Darth Vader like strap mask, and I don't think I have it. This cute little it was a speaker. It was a little Bluetooth speaker that had like Darth Vader's helmet on it, and that's it. That was it. I was like, I go, how much did you pay for that? And he was like, I don't know. And I go, I think you got robbed because
Oh, I
like,
guarantee you that was like $150.
yeah.
If
And
it
I'm
was from
like, how
Spirit
did,
or
like, yeah.
like one of those Ruby brand Halloween costumes are always way
I was like,
overpriced.
Dad, you can't buy stuff off of Facebook like that. You're going to get your money stolen.
Yeah. But the Black Series Vader helmet was real, right?
Yeah. Like it was,
Okay.
the video was showcasing it, but like he definitely didn't buy it from these people.
Yeah. That's funny. I'm trying to think of something else that I specifically remember begging. I think I was with my grandma at Target one year or something. This was again back 2005. Revenge of the That was like my biggest.
Yeah. That's where
Revenge of the Sith was like what kind of drew the obsession to Star Wars for me, at least, because that was like my prime age of getting obsessed with cool kid stuff.
I think so too. I distinctively remember my dad sitting me down one day and was like, we're going to watch these movies. And he showed me, it was funny because like my attention wasn't even there. It was a kid. It was like 2005, Revenge of the Sith. I was like 6. So I wanted to go outside and play, but it's the scene of Obi-Wan cutting off the dude's arm in Mos Eisley. And it like blew my mind, and I was just like, that's awesome. And from then on, I was hooked. And then I think they took me to go see the prequels, and
yeah, I'll get to what I was talking about in a second. But for some reason, I've been thinking about this a lot for the past few years, and I don't know when my first Star Wars experience was. I don't remember a time in my life where, because I know my parents didn't show them to me. Like neither of my parents were very big Star Wars fans. I think it might have been my brother or something. I just remember. Maybe watching Phantom Menace when I was young, maybe once. When I was very young, like when it first came out. But I cannot remember a point in my life where I didn't know what Star Wars was.
And like me too, I had to like think about that, you know, the time my dad showed me. But even then I'm like, did I know about it prior to that? Or was that like the first time he made me like actually watch it? Yeah. Had I seen something prior? I don't remember seeing the prequels for the first time. We're just at that
age where like it's just a cultural thing where it just exists.
Bloodstream now. Yeah. It's everywhere.
Yeah. Like we were born at the time where like Star Wars, like the whole hype had already passed, and it just like embedded itself into like culture, and now it's just a thing that everybody knows when they're born, I guess. But when I was talking about, I think it was Target, and I think I was with my grandma or something, and I saw the Chewbacca bowcaster. It was like a Hasbro toy.
Whoa,
Chewbacca
cool.
bowcaster, and I had to choose between that or I think it was a Stormtrooper blaster toy, and I got the Chewbacca bowcaster, and I think it didn't shoot or anything, but it made this really cool it's some kind of noise. It wasn't like the blaster noise. Yeah, it was like a weird whooshing sound. Yeah, I remember loving it so much.
That's funny you say that, because I had the E11 Stormtrooper gun that essentially did the same thing, but it was the Stormtrooper sound.
Yeah, I think I ended up. I think later on I ended up getting the Stormtrooper gun too, because I remember that as well.
How many lightsabers did you have?
When it comes to like the Walmart Target sabers, like those ones that are like $10 at Target, I used to get one probably almost every other time I went to Walmart or Target. And I'd be like, oh, I have the Qui-Gon hilt, but I don't have it in purple.
Yep.
Because you used to be able to get purple, green, blue, and red. And they only had the Obi-Wan hilt from Phantom Menace.
Yep.
They had the Qui-Gon hilt.
All the thick ones. Yep.
Yeah, and I don't think those are the only two you had at first. And then they later came out with like the Anakin hilt or like the Luke hilt. And then I think that's about it. And then now they have all the, But back then, it was you had two choices for hilts and then 4 colors, and then you just bought 4 of them, and like there you go.
Yep, that's all you had. I never had the like build your own ones, or
I did. I
was like the like extendable, but the plastic ones that like still made the sounds.
But like I had so for those like kind of like I guess you call them deluxe sabers now, but I had the build your own one because I saw it. Again, I spent a lot of my childhood at a Target. It also doesn't help that I worked there for 3 years.
That checks out.
But also, when it comes to those like deluxe style sabers, I always hated that the blade didn't go all the way down into the hilt. It always stuck out.
Yeah, it always got stuck.
No, like it actually didn't. Like it wasn't just stuck. It just there was no way it could come down. So like it always was the hilt, and then it came up and like a foot, and it couldn't go back in because of just I think it's because the blade was longer than like those toy ones that went all the way in. But I remember seeing the build your own lightsaber one, and it comes with like a kyber crystal you can put in there and like a bunch of different attachments and stuff. And I remember begging my mom for that one. Yeah, before 15 years before Galaxy's Edge. Yeah.
That's funny. We were talking about removable helmets earlier. I gotta find them. I bought these from long before Galaxy's Edge. Disney did Star Wars weekend in like June and July and maybe in August, and it was essentially it was MGM Studios all dedicated to Star Wars. You met characters, they did like a parade with everybody, and like that eventually progressively grew into what is now Galaxy's Edge, which is its own separate theme park. But dude, childhood memories going to Disney World, and the ticket booth had the stand above it had stormtroopers that would like be people, and they would just watch you, just look at you. I met Darth Vader. I met Darth Maul. I met everybody. But what I was saying is that I have a Han and Luke stormtrooper action figure that had removable helmets.
Oh, cool!
And they came with blasters. Yeah, it was really cool.
Speaking of Disney World, I went to Disney World one time in my entire life, and it was 2001. So I was like 3.
Nice.
And I don't remember anything besides I've watched like some VHS tapes, like home videos from that trip. And like the stuff that's in the tapes is what I remember because I've been able to go back and watch it. But other than that, I know nothing. We were gonna go to Orlando last year, and then COVID happened. Way, us too. Yeah.
Yeah, we were gonna go, and it wasn't even a Disney trip. It was just gonna be an Orlando trip because I think someone rented a house, and I was distinctively like saving up to get a lightsaber. That was all. That was my I had to walk out with the lightsaber. That was my plan.
So we were gonna go just to Orlando so we could go to Galaxy's Edge and Universal and Disney, like just splurge and go to all the parks and just waste all of our money for consumer products. And I think when was it when we tried to cancel? It was like right when the pandemic hit. We were like, you know what? We're probably not going to be able to go this summer.
Yeah,
so we tried to cancel. We tried to cancel our Airbnb, and the guy was like, "Oh no, we'll see if things start slowing down, or if they're taking COVID precautions by the time you guys planning to come, because we were planning to come in like August." And we were like, yeah, no, can we please we had to like dispute with Airbnb to get this guy to let us cancel our freaking, I guess he was low on cash or something. But that Floridian. I was very excited to see Galaxy's Edge finally, and it got canceled. So hopefully sometime this or next year, one of these days, I'll be able to see Galaxy's Edge and build a lightsaber.
I was really bored one day, and I watched that. There's a documentary on Disney Plus it's essentially this big like Galaxy's Edge like ad propaganda video.
Oh, like the Neil Patrick Harris thing?
Yeah, exactly that one. It's interesting. It's not fun. Jay Leno flies the Falcon is awful at it, but I just remember being like yeah, why not? Like, I'll watch it.
Yeah. There is another you have no idea how many lightsabers I had, but there was another saber that I remember having, and it was Anakin's. It was the first one of this kind. Again, around Revenge of the Sith, but it was Anakin's lightsaber, but it was color changing. So it was clear, but it illuminated blue, and you could also press the button and it would turn red.
That's cool.
And I remember wanting that really, really badly, and thinking that this is before I had even seen Revenge of the Sith, but thinking that Anakin's lightsaber would be red, but it wasn't. In Revenge of the Sith. But yeah, that was one that I remember wanting really badly and ended up getting. So.
I always wanted the the old, like when Revenge of the Sith was out and they had like the like die-cast RGB sabers. I've got Anakin's and Vader's, but I always wanted Darth Maul's.
Yeah.
Because it was like the classic Darth Maul and like it came apart too. And
Well, speaking of like, I guess it wouldn't be speaking of Darth Maul's saber, but there was this saber that I ended up, I think it was either given to me by like a neighbor or something. They said it was Mace Windu's saber, but it wasn't his hilt. It was like, I think it was like some weird, just like run-of-the-mill standard hilt thing that they used for like the prequels. It's like the hilt that everybody has in the prequels. I don't really know how to describe it.
No, I think get, like the lightsabers Anakin and Obi-Wan get in Attack of the Clones. The basic ones they just
it was
get thrown
like that,
at.
but the hilt was the blade was purple.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
they showed me the box, and it was supposed to be Mace Windu's lightsaber from Phantom Menace.
Oh.
And I'm confused because he didn't choose the purple until Attack of the Clones. So I'm guessing it came out after maybe it came out whenever Attack of the Clones happened and it was supposed to be for Mace's lightsaber for Phantom Menace. I was so confused though because I was like, wait, but that's not his hilt.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm tempted to. I want to play this board game with this Phantom that Keith got me. That our mascot Keith got me.
Oh
was
yeah!
The Phantom
if you
Menace
listened last week, Jackson had a great story about his Star Wars Secret Santa who just gives him Star Wars gifts for no particular reason, other than Jackson likes Star Wars.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, if you want to hear that story, tune into our episode from Thursday, and there's a really great story at the top of the episode. But I think one part of Star Wars culture that is really prominent, has always been prominent, is Lego Star Wars. And I think that I don't know a single person who is around our age who did not have at least one Lego Star Wars set as a child.
I'm trying to think of I had a lot of Legos. I had too many Legos.
My brother was like that, and that's kind of how I like whenever I got Lego sets, and like after we played with them, they would just go into my brother's Lego box and sit there for pieces, I guess.
I had a cousin who had a lot of cool sets. My favorite one he had was the Republic shuttle cruisers.
Oh yeah.
I can never remember their names, but it had like the sliding doors and it had like the ball lasers in them that you could put clones in, and
those things that look like those paper clips.
Yeah. Yeah. I always had like action figure thing. I had like a old AT-AT walker.
But you say AT-AT?
I switch between, honestly.
I for some reason always say AT-AT. I like cringe at myself when I say AT-AT.
I kind of do too, but then again, I also did just say it. So like where like which one is it, Jackson? But like, I think mentally I like to prefer AT-AT. I just kind of said AT-AT because it flowed.
Yeah. I remember my brother ended up getting it was like a Star Destroyer set.
I always wanted one.
Yeah. And I think he completed it once, and then as soon as he finished it, we played with it. Then it ended up falling apart, and then we just used the pieces for other builds.
I've got my friend Jordan, who'll probably end up being a guest on this show at some point. I think he and our other friend Alec had the big Millennium Falcon. Like the collectors, like it was the biggest set at its time. Mm-hmm. I always wanted the Slave One set. I think that would be cool. They just did a re-release of that, actually. I saw that. They re-released a bunch of old sets.
Yeah, I remember from Attack of the Clones, remember the speeders the speeder that Anakin flew, the yellow one, and with the Coruscant chase?
That's cool.
I had a toy of that. And you had it had like a little Anakin action figure with it. It was really cool. And then I also had the Lego set of like the other bounty hunter girl, like the Changelings ship, whatever that ship is called.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I had the Lego set of that one.
I had a toy of Anakin's Starfighter. his Revenge of the Sith Starfighter, and it had a little slot that you could put an R2D2 toy in.
I had that too. Yep.
Yeah, that was cool.
Because like the R2D2, it didn't pull out to a full R2D2. It was just like R2's top half. I was like, what's the point of this? Whose horse is this?
Whose horse is that? That's Obi-Wan Kenobi. I was big in the Lego Star Wars games. I'm excited for that new one. Do you see they're going to have 300 characters?
Yeah, we talked about that on our first episode, but that is just crazy. There's going to be a lot. I really hope they have they talked about if there's going to be like an online mode for it.
I don't think there is. I had that conversation with someone as well. I think it'll be the classic like Lego. You can play the like co-op together, like a split screen.
I also wonder if there's still going to be the same the same missions and gameplay as the old games, or if they're kind of changing it up.
I think a bit of both actually, because some of the trailer looks like familiar stuff, but I also could be just very wrong, and maybe it's just here and there.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they did like completely redesign the prequel stuff and the.
I think that's kind of the
original
plan,
trilogy
is that
stuff.
it's essentially the same like level build out, but it's like updated and like made to a challenging point that it's you know like up with modern players.
Yeah, I always loved whenever you after every level you have to like get a certain amount of coins and you're a true Jedi.
Yeah.
And you got the mini kits and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, I used to play that on GameCube. The original one.
I had it for my PlayStation 2.
Yeah, I remember did I have it? Did I have? I think I had the original trilogy one on PlayStation 2.
I had 1 and 2 for the PlayStation 2, but then I had Complete Saga for the Wii. I have Complete Saga now on my iPad, actually. It's like $6 on the Apple Store.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to play because like the controls are old and just like it's definitely not made for an iPad to run it.
No.
Like, so yeah, it's fun. It's interesting.
I always liked how in the cutscenes they didn't talk. It was like back in like the prime of Lego games where they didn't talk.
Like when they didn't speak. Yeah, the first one that changed that was Lego Batman 2.
Yeah, because I recently I got a PS4 like almost 2 years ago now, but I have the Lego Avengers game and they just like talk and they're like saying things. I'm like, wait, this is the first Lego game I've played since probably like Lego Indiana Jones or something.
Oh, I had those for the DS and the PlayStation 2.
And I was like, wait, why are they all talking in the characters' voices? This is weird.
They're fun. I've started playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 in Japanese. I've started playing it in Japanese audio, and then I play Heroes versus Villains.
Okay.
And it's just so awesome. It's just so cool. It's just like there's a mode in Battlefront 2 called Hero Showdown, where it's essentially a 2v2 hero fight, and if you die, like you're out for the round, and it's essentially a 3-fight match.
Gotcha.
And essentially, whoever wins, or I think it's whoever wins 2. It's a blast. So it's a lot of like doing the like full on emotes and like having like these calculated fights, because it's not hack and slash fighting. They changed how like all the fighting and stuff was. So like people have specific blocks and whatnot, and you have to like change your dynamic. And
what did you think about the OG Battlefront games?
Classics. Nothing will beat them. I had a version on my laptop that essentially was it was a download of Battlefront 2, but it was modded to have all of the maps from the first Battlefront and all of the game modes, with also custom maps and custom characters. So there was like an Alderaan map, and it was like if you did Hero Showdown on it, like you could play as Thrawn. There was like a cool Leia character that had it, and
that's cool.
Yeah, dude, it was, and it worked on LAN servers too. So like I would just play it with friends in high school. And
wasn't Battlefront 2 the OG one? Was that the first one that you could play as Jedi? Was the first one you could only be?
Yeah, the first one you couldn't be. They would be there, Jedi, but they were just like bosses. Yeah, you could be them in the second one.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you ever play the Revenge of the Sith game on PS2?
Yes, but I don't think I actually ever finished it. I think I just
didn't either.
Bad at video games when I was younger.
I know there's an alternate ending.
There's like an Anakin version. Yeah,
there's like a version where Anakin kills Obi-Wan and like he kills the Emperor. and like kind of takes over the galaxy.
They remake a lot of old Star Wars games to like run and like modern consoles. I have the Jango Fett game, the Star Wars Bounty Hunter game for my PlayStation. I've got the 2 Jedi Academies. I think that's all I have classic wise right now.
Yeah, I remember I never played it, but I remember always seeing, like, when I would go to Family Video to rent games, that one Kenobi game. There was like an Xbox Kenobi game.
Oh.
Yeah, let me Google and make sure I didn't just make that up, but I'm pretty sure.
I had an Attack of the Clones game on my PlayStation, or on my Game Boy, and it was hard. It was the hardest thing I've ever encountered in my life, and I'm shocked I didn't break something.
I just booted up the old Google machine, and yes, there is a Star Wars Xbox Obi-Wan game. I said Obi-Wan weird. Star Wars Xbox Obi-Wan game, and you play as Obi-Wan from the Phantom Menace. Because it came out in 2001. I remember seeing it, but I never played it, so I don't know what.
This is opening deep-rooted memories.
Yeah. I was always intrigued by it, but I never got to play it. And now that I'm seeing stills from it, I really want to play it now. That's kind of cool.
I bet you Xbox has some kind of deal on it. I haven't played Xbox since like 2016.
No, I never owned an Xbox. But speaking of, since we're on the video game topic, obviously a really big video game for our childhood was Force Unleashed.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about just that entire series? Series meaning 2 games.
Full disclosure, I don't think I ever beat the second one.
I never played the second one. I only played the first one.
I think I only played like some of the second one. I don't think I ever really got into it.
I played the first one on Wii is really fun.
I played on the Wii too.
Yeah, it's really fun on Wii.
Wow.
Because I really wanted to play specifically on Wii because you could do the lightsaber movements and stuff.
Yep. Dude, deep-rooted memory, just sitting like chair pulled in front of like the TV in the living room. You're just sitting there, just shaking your hands violently.
That was me in my basement.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's hysterical. Dude, Force Unleashed. That's a killer game. I'll never forget the part in the first one when he pulls the Star Destroyer down.
Oh my gosh!
It felt like it. You were doing whatever controls you needed to do, and it just felt like you weren't gonna do it. You weren't gonna pull it
with
off.
With like the haptic feedback and like the controller vibrates really hard. Yeah, it's so cool. I had the Force Unleashed comic. Like there was like a comic graphic novel.
Yeah, I follow a YouTube account where I read all my comics, and they've got some of those on there.
Yeah, there was a Force Unleashed comic, and I actually read that before I played the game. So when I was playing the game, cool. I knew what all was going to happen because I read it.
Oh no!
It got completely spoiled for me. But kind of wrapping up here. It's a little bit of a shorter episode today, but what is there any more that you can think of that really affected you, Star Wars merchandise wise?
I'm trying to think. I wish I still had all my old video games. I should go through my old toys. I want better helmets and better lightsabers. Yeah. That's all I could ask for.
Yeah. There was one that I didn't mention. I had this, speaking of Force Unleashed, I had this lightsaber from, I think it was Walmart, and it was called the Force Unleashed. You can Google this. It's called the Force Unleashed Deluxe Lightsaber. And it was a lightsaber that was just like a hilt and had a clear blade that could turn either green or red. And when you press the activator button, some like blades came out from the hilt. So it had like these weird outcroppings of blades that shinged up whenever you switched the blade to red. Like, and it made this weird knife sound. You can Google if you're listening right now and you don't have no clue what I'm talking about and you have access to Google, just Google Force Unleashed deluxe lightsaber, deluxe electronic lightsaber, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It was really cool. It's like my favorite lightsaber I ever owned.
That makes me think. I wonder if we're going to get cool lightsabers in High Republic. I already like how detailed,
Yeah, they have the cross guards without the blades being cross guards. They're like the actual
Awesome.
hilt is built into a cross guard. It's so cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Well, I think that will do it for today. I'm going to go ahead and cue the music. Thank you guys so much for checking out our Star Wars Podcast Day special. Make sure you're going out and checking out all the other participants that are participating in Star Wars Podcast Day. All you got to do is search up Star Wars Podcast Day on any streaming platform for podcasts, and you'll find a bunch of different people and podcasts that are participating today. So go ahead and check those out. I think we're good from there. Jackson, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at QuacksonScaline, QuackSon, and then scaling like the triangle. And then on Instagram, you can follow my photography Instagram at Deleen_photography. That's DALEEN. Braydon, how about you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram at braydonleadbetter, and you can find me right there on Twitter at braydathalon. And then for the show, if you want to follow us on all of our social medias, we have an Instagram. It is at Through Imperial Eyes Pod, and for our Twitter, it's just Imperial Eyes Pod. And then you can also search us up on the YouTubes. We are Through Imperial Eyes Podcast. If you just search that, we should pop up. Make sure you're tuning in this coming Thursday for our brand new review of Into the Dark by Claudia Gray. So make sure you're checking that out. If you're curious about the High Republic, or if you've read it and you just want to know our thoughts, make sure you're checking that out. And also, please make sure to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, because that really helps out the show. And make sure if you have any questions or if you want us to talk about anything, you hit up our Anchor. We have a voice message option. You can shoot us a voice message and your voice will appear on the show. But if you don't want to do that, you can also hit us up on Twitter and Instagram. We're always taking questions for our future episodes. But I think that is all we have for today. Thank you so much for listening. Happy Star Wars Podcast Day, and may the Force be with you.